You ever wake up and realize your whole life packed its bags while you were sleeping? That was me, Tuesday morning, 6:13 a.m., standing in my kitchen with 2 cups of cold coffee and a note that looked like it came from a hostage situation. Black ink, all caps, for sentences that gutted me in under 5 seconds. Don't look for me. I need freedom. This isn't about you. Please don't make it ugly. Please don't make it ugly. Like she was doing me a favor by leaving me in a house that still smelled like her goddamn vanilla shampoo. I didn't scream, didn't call her, didn't even check her location, though my thumb hovered over that app like a loaded trigger. I just sat there at the counter staring at that note while the refrigerator hummed like it was mocking me. Here's what they don't tell you about a moment like this. It's quiet. Too quiet. Your brain expects drama, a slamming door, something cinematic. But it's just you and the static in your head. I read that note again and again until the words blurred into one long sneer. Then I folded it once, twice, slid it into my pocket, and said out loud, just to hear my own voice. Okay. Not okay as in forgiveness. Okay as in message received. You think I chased her? Hell no. I did something better. Something final. While she was out there tasting freedom, I opened my laptop, logged into every joint account we had, and started slicing ties like I was born for it. First move, freeze the cards. Click. Done. Second, drain the joint savings into my personal account. One she couldn't touch because I set it up the year she said, "We don't need secrets, do we?" Irony's a bitch. By 9 a.m., the woman who walked out to find herself couldn't even buy a latte without getting declined. I filed for divorce before noon. Did it online, no tears, no calls, just digital paperwork and a smirk that felt like armor. People will call that cold. You know what I call it? Survival. You ever love someone so hard you forget where you end and they begin? That was me for 10 years. 10 years of paying bills, fixing leaky sinks, remembering her mom's birthday, being the guy who doesn't mind holding down the fort so she can breathe. And this is what I get. A note on cheap stationery like I'm a goddamn roommate who left dishes in the sink. So yeah, I didn't chase her. I built a wall she couldn't climb. And while I did it, something inside me cracked, not broken, not bleeding, more like steel snapping free. Because here's the part you'll want to lean in for. That note. It wasn't the first lie. It was the last straw. By Wednesday, my phone was a graveyard of missed calls. Friends. Her mother. Even my boss, because apparently she'd started floating a story that I'd snapped. Cute. Not one call from her, though. No apology. No explanation. Just silence. And you know what? I didn't crave her voice. I craved clarity. And clarity's loud when you're paying attention. First thing I did was pull every bank statement for the last 6 months. You ever scroll through your own financial life and feel like you're reading someone else's script? Hair salon visits I didn't know about. Hotel charges in a city we never go to. And the big one, Venmo payments to a name I didn't recognize. Over and over. Always with emojis. Wine glass. Palm tree. A goddamn lock and key. I stared at that lock emoji so long it burned into my eyelids. Freedom, my ass. She wasn't running from me. She was running to something. Or someone. So I went dark. No Facebook updates. No Instagram stories. Hell, I deleted every profile I had. That wasn't for her. It was for me. When someone thinks they've burned the bridge, the last thing you do is let them know you're already across the river. I stopped sleeping in our bed. Couldn't stand the smell of her lotion on the pillow. Moved into the guest room with nothing but my laptop and a lamp. That room always felt like a storage closet for broken dreams. Christmas decorations, boxes labeled old taxes. Now it felt like a war room. Because here's what people don't get. Divorce isn't heartbreak. It's logistics. And I've always been good at logistics. I had 3 goals. Secure the assets. Already in motion. Close every door she might try to slip through. Find out who the hell Palm Tree 69 is. By Thursday night, I had my answer. Not from a PI, not from a friend. From her own damn carelessness. She left her iCloud linked to the iPad in the kitchen. Notifications started popping up like popcorn while I was making coffee. Text previews. Snippets of a conversation that read like a script from the world's trashiest soap opera. Him. Can't wait for Friday night. You free? Her. You know I am. He still doesn't suspect a thing. Him. Good. We deserve this. Always have. Always have. That phrase is a grenade with the pin half pulled. Means this isn't some random fling. It's old. old enough to have roots. And then came the photo. I didn't open it. Didn't need to. The preview showed enough. 2 glasses clinking in a hotel room. Curtains drawn. A bed behind them that wasn't ours. I should have thrown the iPad. Should have screamed. Should have called her and unleashed hell. But instead, I did something worse. Something colder. I smiled. Because in that moment, I realized something crystal clear. This wasn't just about love anymore. This was about control. And if she thought walking out with a 4-sentence manifesto gave her the upper hand, she was about to learn something about me. Something I'd forgotten myself. I am not the man you leave with a note. I am the man who writes the last chapter. Friday morning, I woke up before sunrise. Didn't even try to sleep. I brewed coffee strong enough to melt a spoon and sat at the kitchen island, staring at her iPad like it owed me rent. Her last message was still sitting there, glowing like a warning light on the dashboard of my life. Her, leaving town tonight. He'll never know. He'll never know. You ever feel your own heartbeat in your teeth? That was me, grinding enamel while the rest of the world slept. I opened the thread. No hesitation this time. If you're going to cut a wound open, might as well rip it clean. Scrolled past the flirty garbage, the emojis, the you make me feel alive drivel, until I hit the first message. The origin story. Him. Hard to believe we're finally doing this. Her. It feels right. We deserve to be happy. Him. He won't take it well. Her. He's too busy playing the perfect husband to notice. And then I saw it. The name. Evan. Not a stranger. Not some random gym rat or thirsty coworker. Evan goddamn Parker. My best friend since college. The guy who stood next to me in a tux at our wedding. The guy who gave a speech about loyalty and brotherhood while drunk on champagne and nostalgia. You ever hear glass crack before it shatters? That was my head. I put the iPad down slowly, like it was a live grenade. Walked to the sink, ran cold water over my hands, because I swear to God they were shaking so hard I thought they'd break. The worst part wasn't the betrayal. It was the memories. Camping trips. Poker nights. Him holding my kid when she was born. Every one of them replayed in my skull like a home movie directed by a sadist. I went back to the iPad. Scrolled further. Him. Hotels booked. Same spot. Room 214. Her. Perfect. Can't wait to be yours for real. Room 214. My chest went tight. 2 weeks ago, I found a hotel receipt in the laundry basket. Same room number. I told myself it was nothing. That coincidences happen. Funny thing about coincidences. They don't exist when someone's laughing behind your back. Here's the thing nobody prepares you for. Rage doesn't roar. Not real rage. It whispers. It slides under your skin like oil, smooth and cold. And mine was whispering one word on repeat. Finish this. I closed the thread. Picked up my phone. Opened a new contact folder titled Exit Plan and started typing. Lawyer. Banker. Locksmith. And one other number I hadn't dialed in a decade, Davis. The guy you call when you need a mess cleaned without fingerprints. By 10 a.m., I had appointments lined up like dominoes. By noon, every shared account was bled dry and locked. By 2 p.m., I'd transferred the house deed into a trust with my name only. And at 3:17 p.m., while I was sipping my third coffee and watching sunlight die across my kitchen floor, Evan texted me. Evan, hey man, you free tonight? Need to talk. Talk. Yeah, I bet you do. I didn't answer. Not yet. Because the beauty of silence? It makes liars sweat. So I let him hang. Because when I finally speak, it won't be words. It'll be the sound of everything burning. I didn't text him back. Didn't call. Just let his message sit there like a corpse in my inbox. By 6:42 p.m., headlights washed over my driveway. Black Tacoma. Evan's truck. Same one we used to load with coolers and gear for fishing trips. Now it looked like a hearse. I killed the kitchen lights and waited. Footsteps on the porch. 2 knocks. Hesitant, like he already knew he was stepping into something sharp. Rory, he called. Voice low. Careful. I opened the door slow. Didn't smile. Didn't even fake it. Just stared until he shifted his weight like a kid about to confess to breaking a window. Hey man, he started, shoving his hands into his jacket. You got a minute? Come in, I said flat. My tone could have frozen boiling water. He walked past me, looking around like maybe she'd pop out from behind the couch. When he didn't see her, relief flickered across his face. Like that mattered. I stayed silent. Let him stew while he fumbled for words. That's the thing about guilt. It talks too much if you let it breathe. Finally, he blurted, I didn't mean for this to happen. There it was. The confession he thought would make me soft. I tilted my head. What exactly didn't you mean, Evan? He swallowed hard. Couldn't meet my eyes. Look, man. Nah. I mean, she's been unhappy for a long time. You know that. Unhappy. I repeated, tasting the word like poison. So unhappy she had to find comfort in your hotel room? Room 214, right? Or was it just one of many? His face drained. Jesus, Rory. Save it. My voice came out low, calm. Too calm. You know what I do when something breaks, Evan? I fix it. But this, I gestured between us, between the wreckage of a decade. This can't be fixed. He opened his mouth, but I cut him off with a look sharp enough to slit his tongue. You walked into my house, I said, stepping closer. So you're going to hear this once, and only once. You're done. With her. With me. With this town if you're smart. His jaw tightened, like maybe the old beer buddy bravado wanted to crawl out and swing. But then he saw something in my face, something feral, something final, and that bravado died screaming in his throat. I'll back off, he stammered. I smiled then. Small. Deadly. You'll do more than that. Because here's the thing, I wasn't bluffing. By the time his tires crunched out of my driveway, my plan was already halfway executed. Her cards were dead. Her accounts, frozen. And tomorrow morning, her shiny little Lexus? Repoed. Courtesy of the fact that it was in my name the whole damn time. I stood at the window watching Evan's taillights disappear into the dark and thought about that note she left. Don't make it ugly. Too late, sweetheart. Ugly isn't coming. Ugly's already here. The call came at 8:03 a.m. Saturday. I was sitting on the back porch with black coffee and a silence so heavy it could break bone when my phone lit up. Her name. I let it ring twice before answering. Rory. Her voice was frantic, like she'd been running. What the hell did you do? I took a slow sip. Morning to you, too. All my cards are declined. My account's empty. The car gone. Where's my car, Rory? Probably on a flatbed headed to a dealership. Title's in my name, remember? You can't. I can. And I did. Dead air. The kind that hums. Then a shaky laugh, bitter as burnt toast. Wow. You're really going to make this ugly. I almost laughed. Almost. No. You made it ugly the second you decided a motel mattress with Evan was worth blowing up 10 years. She gasped like I'd slapped her. You? I know, I cut in. Every emoji. Every text. Every sweaty little rendezvous in room 214. Silence. Then a whisper. Who told you? I smiled into the steam of my coffee. You did. You always do. Careless is your love language. She started to cry then. Big, gulping sobs that once would have gutted me. Now they just sounded like background noise to the click, click, click of my next move. Rory, please. I just needed space. I wasn't. Stop. My tone went steel. You wanted freedom. Congratulations. You're free. Free of the car, the cards, the house. All of it. You think this is over? She snapped, voice flipping from begging to venom in a heartbeat. You think you can just erase me? I'll take you for everything. Everything. I chuckled. Low. Dark. Good luck with that. Check your email. Because while she was out there sampling freedom, I was moving pieces. Last night, I finalized the trust transfer. House. Untouchable. Savings. Locked. Retirement accounts. Off limits without my signature. And the kicker? I had proof. Screenshots of her messages, hotel receipts. Even a selfie Evan sent her that showed my wedding photo in the background. Because apparently, betrayal makes people stupid. You're bluffing, she hissed. Open the email, I said, then hung up before she could spit another word. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Not a call. A text. Her. You son of a bitch. I didn't reply. Just watched as 3 dots popped up, then vanished. By noon, she'd be realizing the deeper truth. This wasn't about revenge anymore. This was scorched earth, and I wasn't stopping until there was nothing left for her to crawl back to. It was 4:11 p.m. when the pounding started. Not a polite knock. Not even the passive-aggressive, I know you're home tap. This was fists on wood, shaking the frame like she thought she could break the whole damn house down. I didn't move right away. Let her sweat out there for a full minute while I sat in the armchair with the blinds cracked, watching her silhouette on the porch. Hair messy, sunglasses hiding what I already knew were tear-swollen eyes. one hand clutching her phone like it was a lifeline. Finally, I opened the door. She didn't even wait. Blew past me in a storm of perfume and fury. "What the hell is wrong with you?" "Plenty," I said, calm as a sniper. "But you already knew that when you wrote me a goodbye note like we were in a goddamn Lifetime movie." She spun, ripping off her sunglasses. Eyes red, mascara bleeding down her cheeks. She didn't look like freedom. She looked like regret wearing yesterday's clothes. "You froze everything," she snapped. "You think you can just erase me? Like I never existed?" I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "Erase you? No. People will remember you. For the way you left, the way you lied. That kind of thing leaves a mark." Her jaw tightened. "You're enjoying this." "Not really," I said. "This isn't joy. It's cleanup." Her lip curled. "Cleanup? Jesus, Rory. I'm still your wife." "Legally," I corrected. "Morally? You're Evan's problem now." The name hit her like a bullet. She flinched. "You talked to him?" "Oh, we had a nice little chat." "You know what he said?" I tilted my head, let it hang there like a noose. "He didn't mean for this to happen." She opened her mouth, closed it, then did what I knew she'd do, turn the waterworks on full blast. Tears, trembling voice, the whole sad song. I felt trapped, Rory. Like I was disappearing. I needed air. I laughed. "Couldn't help it. So you went to a hotel with my best friend? That how people breathe now?" She sobbed harder, stepping closer, reaching for my arm, like muscle memory would save her. "Please, can't we just start over?" That almost broke me. Almost. Because there was a time when those words would have made me cave, when I would have bent over backwards to fix her mess. But that man died the second I saw room 214. I stepped back, slow and deliberate. "No, sweetheart. There's no over to start." Then I did something she didn't see coming. I held up my phone and hit play. Her voice filled the room, tinny but unmistakable. "He still doesn't suspect a thing. Can't wait to be yours for real." Her face drained to chalk. "You recorded everything," I said, sliding the phone back into my pocket. "See, while you were chasing oxygen, I was building a case." She staggered back like I'd hit her. And maybe I had, just not the way she expected. "You can leave now," I said quietly. "Door's right there. Take the freedom you begged for." And then came the twist I didn't plan for. Her phone buzzed. She glanced down, and her face, her whole face, collapsed. Not fear, not anger, something worse. I caught a glimpse of the screen before she turned it. "Evan, we need to talk. Cops came by my place." Cops? What the hell had she dragged me into? "Cops." I said it slow, like tasting metal. She shoved the phone in her bag, like hiding it would make the word disappear. "It's nothing. Try again." She hesitated, eyes darting toward the door like a trapped animal looking for an exit. "It's not what you think." "Really?" I stepped closer, closing the air between us until she had to tilt her head to look at me. "Because what I think is my wife ran off with my best friend, and now the law's knocking on his door. So why don't you fill in the blanks before I start connecting them my way?" Her throat bobbed. Her hands shook so bad her rings clinked together. And then she said it. One word that yanked the floor out from under me. "Fraud." I blinked. "Come again." Her voice cracked. "Evan, he wasn't just." She swallowed hard. "He had this deal. Some investment thing. He said it was safe, guaranteed. I wanted to help him, Rory. He needed me." The laugh that tore out of me was sharp enough to cut glass. "You gave him money?" "Not just mine." She whispered it like a prayer. "Ours." I froze. "How much?" She didn't answer, which told me everything. I grabbed my phone, thumb flying over the banking app I'd locked down days ago. Checked the transaction history. There it was, 2 transfers I hadn't seen before. One for $25,000. Another for $40,000. Both labeled P Consulting, LLC. My vision went white. $65,000? My voice wasn't even mine anymore. It was a growl coming from somewhere deep, dark, and unlit. Tears spilled down her face. "He promised he'd double it in 6 months. I thought. You thought you'd bankroll his little empire while bleeding me dry?" I slammed my hand against the wall so hard the picture frame rattled. She flinched, but I didn't care. "Jesus Christ, nah." I stopped myself. "You didn't just wreck a marriage. You committed a felony in my name." Her knees buckled. She gripped the counter like it could keep her from drowning. "Please, they can't know you were involved. They can't trace it to you." "They already can," I snapped. joint accounts, shared address. You didn't just light a match, sweetheart. You poured gasoline on both of us. My pulse was a drumline in my skull. Evan was in this deep enough to get cops at his door, which meant the scam wasn't small time. Which meant I had a decision to make, and fast. Option A, let this spiral and watch the feds drag my name through the mud. Option B, burn them both before the fire hits me. Guess which one I chose? I stepped back, breathing slow, steady. That old part of me, the one built for pressure, the one that doesn't blink when the stakes go nuclear, woke up like it had been sleeping with one eye open. You need to leave, I said finally. Calm. Too calm. Right now. She shook her head. Rory, go pack a bag. Take your freedom and run. Because the next time you hear my name, it'll be from someone in a suit holding a warrant. Her face twisted in something between horror and disbelief. You do that to me? I stared straight through her. You already did it to yourself. And as she walked out, shoulders shaking, I opened my laptop and typed 3 words into a secure browser I hadn't touched in years. Davis, I'm in. Because this wasn't about heartbreak anymore. This was war. By midnight, my house didn't look like a home anymore. It looked like an op center. Laptop glowing, files stacked, burner phone charging on the desk. The kind of setup I swore I'd never touch again. But here I was. Old habits crawling out of the grave like they'd been waiting for the siren. The first call went to Davis. Naval Systems guy, now living under the radar in Tennessee. When you need digital fingerprints scrubbed or accounts rerouted without leaving scorch marks, he's the guy. You sound calm, he said after one ring. That scares me. Need a clean sever, I replied. Digital and legal. Yesterday. He chuckled low. Someone pissed you off. 2 someones. And they're bleeding money in my name. A pause, then a whistle. Messy. You want this quiet or catastrophic? I stared at the wall, at the wedding photo still hanging there like a joke. Both. While Davis worked his magic, I opened my second laptop, the one she never knew about. Secure drive, encrypted OS, no ties to my real ID. Pulled every document I'd archived for years. Prenup, property title, tax filings. Proof that this house was mine before her manicure ever touched my doorknob. Next move, asset freeze. I wasn't talking about cards. Those were already dead. This was deeper. Insurance policies. Brokerage accounts. Anything she could leverage when her world started collapsing. By 2 a.m., every account she could dream of had a kill switch armed and ready. And then came the piece de resistance, the evidence package. Screenshots of her messages, the hotel receipts, bank transfers to P Consulting LLC. Even the audio clip I'd recorded yesterday. All zipped into a single file, time-stamped, redundant backups in 3 locations. Because leverage isn't leverage unless it survives a house fire. I was building a war chest, and it felt familiar. Like slipping into an old uniform. 2:30, Davis pinged me. Done. Paper trail's a ghost. If they come for her. I leaned back, exhaled slow. For the first time in 72 hours, I felt the edge dull just a fraction. Then my doorbell rang. 3 short chimes. Firm. Official. My stomach dropped like an elevator cable just snapped. I checked the feed from the porch cam. 2 men. Suits. Badges glinting under the porch light. I killed the laptop screen, slid the burner under a couch cushion, and opened the door with the kind of calm that hides a hurricane. Mr. Hale, the taller one asked, flashing a badge. Federal crest. Not local PD. Yeah, I said evenly. We'd like to ask you a few questions about a company called P Consulting LLC. There it was. The shot fired across the bow. Of course, I said, smiling like a man who already knows the ending. Come in. But inside, I was already moving pieces in my head. Because this wasn't a question of survival anymore. It was a question of how far I'd go to make sure the fire burned everyone but me. The taller agent introduced himself as Special Agent Cole. The other one, slim, buzz-cut, eyes like cold steel, didn't bother with pleasantries. They stepped inside like they owned the place, shoes clicking across hardwood I'd refinished with my own hands. Cole spoke first. Mr. Hale, we're investigating a financial fraud case tied to P Consulting LLC. Your name came up on 2 transfers totaling $65,000. Mind explaining that? I smiled, slow and easy, like a man who had nothing to hide, and 10 steps already mapped ahead. Funny thing, I said, I was about to call you. That made Steel Eyes twitch. Oh, yeah. I slid a folder across the table, thick enough to land like a brick. Inside, screenshots, receipts, audio clips. Everything. That's the paper trail. My wife, nah. Well, soon-to-be ex, and Evan Parker set it up behind my back. I froze accounts the second I saw the charges. Filed for divorce same day. Cole flipped through the pages. His brow tightened. Not suspicion, just focus. You're saying you had no knowledge of these transfers? None, I said flat. You'll see my signature missing from every form. Hell, you'll hear her admit it herself on page 7. Steel Eyes pulled the audio clip on his phone, pressed play. Her voice filled the room. He still doesn't suspect a thing. Cole's face softened into something close to satisfaction. You did your homework. I like things clean, I said. He nodded. That helps. We'll still need you to stay available. No problem. I smiled because the hardest part was done. They didn't come here to cuff me. They came fishing. And I just handed them a shark on a silver platter. When they left, I locked the door and leaned against it, letting the silence settle like dust after an explosion. This was it. The kill shot wasn't loud. It wasn't bloody. It was paperwork and precision and patience, the things she never understood about me. At 6:04 p.m., my phone buzzed. Her name again. I almost didn't answer. Almost. When I did, the first thing I heard was her breathing. Fast, shallow, like someone drowning in air. They came to Evans, she whispered. The feds. They're saying it's federal fraud. It is, I said calmly. Rory, please. You have to help me. I stared out the window at the setting sun bleeding across the horizon. Help you? I let the words hang. You left me a note that said, don't look for me. Silence on her end. Just a soft choke of breath. You wanted freedom, I said, voice like steel wrapped in velvet. Enjoy it. Then I hung up. Blocked her number. Blocked Evans too. By midnight, the trust documents were filed, the deed secure, every account scrubbed clean. The house was quiet again, quiet the way I like it. You want to know the truth? She thought she broke me. Thought she could write an ending in 4 sentences. But here's the thing about endings. They belong to the one who keeps writing. And that's me. Checkmate.